Well, welcome everyone. Please come to the main room here so we can get started. I know somebody here has a very tight schedule, so I want to make sure we respect. So what a joy to see all of you here for the grand opening of Refugee Artisan Initiative. I call it RAY, abbreviation, like a ray of sunshine. So next to me, you will see this beautiful rug. You will see many of them throughout our makerspace. They are called welcome mats. They are made from our artisans, repurposed from donated and used bed sheets. Very, very creative. Also very fitting because the theme today is welcome home. So I'm inspired to do this work. And by the way, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Ming Tung Edelman. I'm the founder and executive director of Refugee Arts Initiative. Thank you for being here. So I'm inspired to do this work because this dress next to me, my grandmother, who made this for me many, many decades ago, and now as an inspiration, as a guide, that if you give women tools and skills, they can become self-sufficient. And that's how I started the program. So COVID really has transformed our organization because there's a need. We have women come from over the world to Seattle, from Ethiopia, Afghanistan, Bhutan, Burma, China, Vietnam, and Morocco. These women rolled up their sleeves and made thousands of masks that we desperately needed at the beginning of the pandemic. They also made medical scrub when there was a shortage. So I realized that their talent is very important to our community. So today we're standing here at the space to honor a tradition of this space. It's called Manufacture Urban Space. The previous owner, Wally, who was here for 45 years, making cabinets. So we want to continue this legacy by creating jobs and opportunities for refugee and women from around the world in sewing and handcrafting. If you walk around the room today, you will see different posters, and there are 4 posters that depict the 4 pillars of our organization. Equity, number 1. And do you know that refugee and immigrant women have an unemployment rate of 40%? 40%, that is just not acceptable. We are breaking down barriers to make sure to help them to build their micro businesses so they can support themselves and their family. Second is training. Sewing is a universal language. The sound of sewing machine is very familiar for many women from around the world coming here to Seattle. So why not focus on what they're good at and build them up? And that's what we do. Third is sustainability. We actually probably the only sort of take-back program here in Seattle. We take your unwanted textiles and train our women to turn it into beautiful products that you will see at the tour shortly after this. So our goal is to divert over 5,000 pounds of textile, and we have done that consistently. Fourth is community. We really value the talents and skills of our artisans. We want to make them feel welcome and supported. Because of these pillars, our women are able to earn from their first paycheck in America to paying down a down payment for their first home. We actually have 3 of them. Today is also a very special day because you're standing at a 7,500 square foot of space. We might be wondering what we would do for this space beyond training. Well, we're thinking bold. Perhaps we can become the first Seattle Refugees Art Center to showcase and elevate the talents of refugees from around the world. Perhaps become a storytelling place for all the immigrant stories that we hear here daily. June 20th is actually Refugee Day. That's why we decided to do our grand opening today. We also wanted to share a wonderful news today with you. 9 of our artisans from Afghanistan are launching their first ever Etsy handcraft shop. Believe me, it feels like you don't even know how to ride a bicycle. We're going to send you to the moon. That's how it feels like. From initial product development to teach them how to use computer, and now they got to do their first fulfillment. So today, I'm here to celebrate the double happiness with you and with such a joyful vacation. Thank you. I want to take this moment to really thank you, acknowledge some of our neighborhood partners. You'll be enjoying some of the fresh pastries from Coffee Clutch. They're a delicious snack made by our neighbors down the door. And our wonderful artisan, Basira, she's also an amazing cook. She also brought some Afghan cookies for you to enjoy. And Chris Levison of Build Lake City together, and Pamela Figuera from Representative John Paul's office. Thank you for helping us to bring Deba home from Afghanistan. We really appreciate it. And Councilmember Dembowski and Deborah Warris. Also Mike Fung, Regional SBA Director, who's not able to be with us today. Mayor Bruce Terrell, friends and neighbors in Lake City. Finally, last but not least, our hardworking staff and artisans at Ray. So now I'm going to hand it over to Carmen Brennan, who's going to do our land acknowledgement.
Thank you, Ming Ming. We acknowledge that this event takes place on the unceded traditional land of the Coast Salish peoples, specifically the first people of Seattle, the Duwamish people, original stewards of the land, past and present. We honor with gratitude the land itself and the Duwamish tribe. This acknowledgement only becomes meaningful when combined with accountable relationships and informed actions, and is a first step in honoring the land we are on and their people. Over the past 2 years, Ray has provided hats and neck warmers to our Indigenous friends in need here in Seattle through Chief Seattle Club and as far away as the Navajo Nation. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I'd like to introduce you to our artisan, Basira. Basira, please come up.
Hi, everybody. Okay. My name is Basira. I am originally from Afghanistan. I have living in Seattle since 2003. I have 6 children, 5 daughters, 1 son. Sewing is my favorite hobby of mine. I learned from my mom, but I love it. I am working with RAI, almost for 1 year. But I like it because it has flexible schedule. It's good work from home, take care of my family, and also it's the Etsy I'm excited about for my Etsy shop. Like this, like I will just open it, and that's it, I think.
Well, Basira is very modest because one day she showed up with one of these mats. And I told her, how did you do that? You have a baby at home. She said the baby couldn't sleep, so it was on my chest while I was making the mat. So that's how multitasking she is. So thank you, Basira, for sharing your journey here with Ray. Now I'd like to introduce Council Member Brad Dembowski. I'm so fortunate to have met him because a year ago, Rob made a surprise visit to Ray and noticed how crowded we were at there. So he asked me, what do we need? I said, we really need a space. And he said, do you have a place in mind? I said, well, there's a woodworking shop down the street. I think the owner is ready to retire. So we're marching over, and a year later, I can't believe we're standing here. Thank you.
All right. Hey, everybody, welcome to Lake City. All right. And how about welcoming our terrific Mayor Bruce Harrell back to Lake City? Hey. Mayor Harrell, it is happening in Lake City, as you can tell, and I know you were up here for your day of service where you galvanized the city. Tens of thousands of people came out, and I just want to thank you personally and ask you all to join me in thanking me, Mayor Harrell, for making a point to come up to Lake City and lead by example and invest in this community. We appreciate you. How long do I have, Ming Ming? Well, let me just say, it's an honor to be here. It's an exciting day to be here. It is a true privilege to stand next to this very special dress, which was Ming Ming's grandmother's dress, which is kind of the icon of this space, and it was in the front door at your old space. And it's a great reminder of why we're here. You know, in the middle of the pandemic, maybe it was early on, a beautiful sewn mask showed up at my house in an envelope, and it had a 4 on it. And I said, 4? I said, I represent District 1, not 4. What's this for? And it was for Culture, our cultural organization for King County. And little did I know at the time, but it was sewn by refugee artisans here at RAI. And I saw RAI on there. I said, oh, well, what's that? I better figure what that out is. And sometime later, May of 2020, I might give you, if you'll have the patience, a little anatomy of the deal here. We got an invitation from Carmen Brenner, who you heard from earlier. Carmen, raise your hand. Amazing ally here and board member. I think you're on the board too, aren't you? No, staff. Okay, great staff. And they said, hey, we've sewn 80,000 masks during the pandemic. And we've got this powerhouse organization. We support immigrants and refugees when they come to America, particularly women, to put their skills to use, because sometimes that's their main power is their knowledge of sewing. Come up and see what we're doing. So we came up and visited last May, and they were in this tiny, cramped little space up here, Mayor Harrell, that's about to be torn down. And you can tell there's a lot of gentrification and redevelopment going on here in Seattle. And they said, we have this terrific program, and make sure if you haven't, check the posters on the wall of the sewers and where they're from and what their names are. They tell a story. And imagine, put yourself in their shoes. You are coming from perhaps a war-torn country. Maybe you've been oppressed or discriminated against. Maybe you've been abused. You don't maybe speak English as well as others. And you land here in Seattle, Washington. You could be isolated. Ming Ming and this organization, RAI, connects with you, brings you into this space, embraces you, supports you, validates your skill set, puts you to work, supports your interest in maybe building up your own micro business, connects you with our capitalist society, and empowers you with dollars. And I will never forget the story you told of, was it Deba who bought the car? Deba from Afghanistan, who RAI and Congresswoman Jayapal helped extract during those tumultuous final days of the U.S. departure, her family out safely. But I love the story. She was sewing here, starting to make some money, and she bought her husband his first car in America, which I just thought was terrific. So we came in May, and we had a little check, I think, from the county. I said, let's give them a little money, $5,000, great organization, little community support money. And then when we presented that, Ming Ming said, hey, we got this building. I said, well, let's go look at it. So we walked down the street, and Wally was here making cabinets in the back. There was sawdust everywhere. I don't know if I like the smell of a wood shop. I took wood shop at Middle School, Mayor Harrell, in Skyway, and you remember that. But he's been here 40, 45 years. He wants to retire. And he said, well, I got to sell the building. And he wasn't real sure RAI, this punchy, energetic startup, maybe had the juice to do a $1.5 million deal. And I said, well, give us some time. Give us a little time. He listed it. He had some offers come in. This guy's been here a long time. He wanted to retire. There were some calls. I was a real estate lawyer before I got in this political business, so I thought it'd be kind of a fun project we worked on together. We reached out to other partners and had a couple of false starts, and eventually we said, well, let's just put some money in the county budget. Mayor Harrell was a great budget writer when he served on the Seattle City Council, so we dropped $800,000 finally last year into our county budget with your name on it. The chair of our budget committee, Jeannie Cole-Wells, also loved the program, was a supporter, and that, I think, helped get the deal done with $300,000 from the city of Seattle, right, for operations. And we inked the deal, you inked the deal, and here we are. How about that? I'm almost done, but why is space important? Why is owning your space important? Look around at these cranes. Lick City is about to transform in an incredible way, and the power of the dollar is hard to fight. And sometimes we eliminate, with big money and big investments, the character and the vibrancy and the diversity of a community that maybe doesn't have the economic power of a big developer. And so it's our job at the county and in the city and the Congress to partner with an organization like the Refugee Artisan Initiative that wants to protect, support, sustain, and lift up communities that are often left out of our capitalist society. And you are at the forefront, at the vanguard of that, Ming Ming, and this organization. And that is why it is such a privilege to be able to partner with you to make sure that as Lake City grows, as people come here, that it maintains and, in fact, enhances all that makes it a great place, that we keep the diversity, that we support our immigrant and refugee communities, that they don't get pushed further out of our city, that we embrace you and support you and sustain you here. And this space, with your name on the title, is going to allow us to do just that. Congratulations. Thank you so much for what you're doing.
Thank you, Councilmember Dembowski. Well said. Thank you so much. And Mayor Harrell, I was so happy to meet you for the first time during the Day of Service a few weeks ago. And because that day, we actually had people coming and pull all the weeds in front of us. They probably knew you were coming today. So Mayor Harrell, thank you, and please come up for a few remarks.
You know, one thing that's come out of this COVID is people are saying they like the politicians to wear these things. So maybe it'll muffle the politicians. But I'll take mine out. Thank you, Ming Ming. Councilmember Dembowski, thank you for your kind words. It's always interesting that when we look at successes like this, these aren't handouts. These are not charity cases. This is an investment strategy and the right one. So often people confuse a handout with a very smart investment strategy. Your pillars, in fact, let me pull my notes out so I don't mess them up. Equity, community, skills training, and sustainability. Sustainability is the key, as Councilmember Dembowski said, owning something. We are living in a world where people are killing one another simply for who they are, what religion they have, what they look like. Unfortunately, in 2022, that is the reality that we are living in. And to get through that pain, to get through that craziness, it's this. The moments we share together, the hope that we're giving to one another. Now, I have a full confession to make, full confession. I probably can teach you all a little bit about sewing. When I was a young person in the dinosaur ages, at Garfield High School, we actually had home economics, and there you could learn how to sew. And I was very eager to take that class because my mother was a very gifted sewer. So I signed up, and we cut out the patterns, and they said, what would you like to make? And I said I wanted to make a robe, because I didn't have a robe, and I always thought on TV they had robes on, and I watched my father walk around in his underwear all the time, and I said, I want a robe. And so we cut out the pattern, and I put it together, and I sewed it manually, and when I finished, the bottom part was like this. One sleeve was like that. But I was proud of that robe. And no matter how much my mom and dad and my brother would laugh when I'd wear that robe, I wore it proudly because I had made it. I had made it, and I accepted flaws and all. And I share that story with you to say that you're creating something that goes beyond the beauty of the products. That's a good thing, the beauty, the products. But you're building community for the women, the refugees that, again, perhaps they lost. But we're going to win. And what winning looks like is you feel good about what you're doing. You can work from home. You can earn a wage. You can help build community, build one Seattle. Seattle is worse off without you. And you have to know that when you come here. That regardless as to what we see in other parts of the world, you have councilmember leaders like Councilmember Dabowski, you have leaders like yourself that will love you, that will accept you, and most importantly, not give you a handout, but invest in you, because that's all we have to do, and you will take it from there. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for all your wonderful remarks. We're going to start our ribbon cutting and shortly, and just let you know there will be a tour of the space led by Carmen Brennan right afterwards. And at this moment, I'd like to know anybody, press or individual, have any questions? Okay. If not, Becerra, Mayor Harrell, and Councilmember Dabowski, come over. We're going to start the ribbon cutting right now.